I am Chris Kaler.
And I'm Amber from Jane Cosplay, and today we're back again to guide with Read Zero, episode 4, season 2. So, last episode ended with a pretty weird conversation.
Yes. It was all over the place, you know, and it might still be because we're recording this on the same day.
Yeah.
So, yeah, sorry if it's weird, but yes, we got a bit mixed up with what was going on last episode, but it was exciting. We basically know now that they're stuck at the sanctuary. There's a barrier that doesn't let the mixed blood out, so Emilia's stuck. There's this guy, Garfield, who's also stuck. And he's basically saying, I will keep the villagers prisoners if you don't break the barrier. And to do that, they need to win the trial. True. The sanctuary trial, the graveyard trial.
Yeah.
We know that Emilia is, allowed to do it because she's mixed blood. And, we have a feeling that if someone who isn't a mixed blood tries to do it, it won't work. Or there will end up like Roswald, who's pretty beat up right now. Subaru was given the right to also do the test, and when Emilia went in and, the test basically ended right away, he got freaked out, and he went in as well. Only to wake up in his room, back in the real world.
With his naked dad.
He needs to, he has to face his past, that's what they said.
Yeah.
So we will see what he does. We will learn about his past, apparently. I'm excited for this. I'm very sorry about all the, the weird thoughts and the mix-ups that we had last time. Hopefully this is different. You can explain it to us. Like, if I don't know why we're not catching up, but if we missed something or if something was obviously clear and we didn't pick it up, you can explain it to us.
It's okay.
Yeah. In the meantime, let's jump in this episode and see how the trial goes.
All right.
Let's go. Oh my god, that was such a needed episode! Oh,
that was cute, heartwarming.
Yes, very sad. Oh my god, poor kid. We discussed before, we theorized what could have been his life before all of this. He never mentioned his parents. We didn't even know how old he was, if he had parents, if he lived with them.
It could have been a young adult, maybe 18 or 19, and living on his own. And from what we saw, he seemed to be a loner. So someone who maybe play video games at home and just doesn't get out
basically
much.
Us. Very us, but to a very more extreme level.
Okay, thanks. Thanks. But yeah, from what we understood, the pressure of being his dad's kid was just so much that he couldn't keep up with it.
Yes.
And his failure got so much heavy on his shoulder that he just decided to just give up on.
He took it as pride. Trying. He started taking it as something to be proud of because he succeeded at everything. But then when he started losing, the words didn't stop, the pressure was still there. It's just that now that he wasn't succeeding, he was taking it more and more heavily as not something to be proud of, but something to achieve. He had to be worth being his dad's son. And it's actually very interesting, and it makes me think of the persona he put on when he came to this world the first time. But, since he couldn't achieve anything, he started making jokes and trying always to be more intense than before. But eventually, when you put on a mask every morning and you pretend to be something that you're not, and you're being reckless, every day of your life to do stupid pranks, people are just gonna let you go because you're funny for a while, but then nothing is real about you, so they let you go. He ended up being alone. Nothing made, nothing was enjoyable. He had no one that knew him, no one at school to be close to. His old, show that he put on basically destroyed his relationships at school. And whenever he came home, he didn't think that he was making his parents proud or anything. And people outside kept saying that he was his dad's son. Or maybe they didn't say it, but he remembered them saying it. And it was kind of like a dark cloud over his head. So he just started doing the contrary. Just waiting to be proven that no, in fact, he wasn't his dad's son, that he wasn't worth being his dad's son. It's very sad. It's very real, too, because I'm pretty sure that when you have overachieving parents or people who went through so much before, and they have a great job, or they lived a great life, and people look up to them. Well, they expect a lot from you.
Yeah.
So it's a huge weight to carry around. I was saying that the parents are pretty nice. One thing I will say, though, is that as parents, they kind of suck. They should have done something. In this episode, the mom is saying that she knew she had to do something, but everything she thought of, she basically thought that it wasn't going to do anything. And I'm like, well, when your son starts not going to school and it's been like 3 months, I'm like, as a parent, you should try to, start asking questions.
I think that both of them saw that he was kind of depressed. And from what I them, they tried to cheer him up in their own way. But since Subaru wasn't
no, but he didn't respond for 3 months. I'm like, at what point do you have to, start making calls and be like, okay, dude, you need help. Like, let's get you to a psychiatrist or something. They should have tried to do more. They just let him do his thing, thinking that eventually, if he wanted help, he was gonna ask. But I'm like, he's a kid. He doesn't know like the best way to go. He definitely needed help. Like, he was depressed as fuck. So I'm just saying that they are good people, and they definitely love their son. It's just that as parent figures, they could have done more. Just saying.
I think that maybe a part of Subaru thought that since it was their kid, what they were saying to him didn't matter as much as if somebody else was saying it to him, because
they're his parents. They could have called for. They could have made him go see someone.
I know, but what I mean is, if you see his her response to Emilia encouragement and to Brian encouragement, he was much more glad with them than with his own parents, because
but that's the thing, though.
It's not T.T Subaru. It's not the son of his father. It is not a child of somebody.
That's something else that he has to deal with, because the entire thing about being compared to his dad all the time and being put on a pedestal and having to basically be this amazing guy that they're all expecting him to be, that was the weight that basically started his downfall. Yeah. But when he got to that new world, he kind of started doing the same shit that he was doing at school, which was putting on this persona, putting on this show, and trying always to do bigger and greater things.
Yeah.
And then he messed up. He failed miserably.
He died a bunch of
times. He failed miserably, and it was to have two people basically show up and say, you know what, you failed, but the fact that you never give up is what I like about you, and I'm not going to allow you to give up. This is too easy.
Yeah.
The fact that you keep going is what makes you my hero. And they basically not forced him, but they allowed him to finally break his mask and become who he always was supposed to be. Natsuki Subaru, the guy with no expectations, the guy who messes up, the guy who cries because it's too hard sometimes, the guy who has to lean on, the guy who's not always perfect, but he still tries, so that's okay. He's still a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy is a lot freer than who he used to be, because he's not supposed to be anyone else other than himself.
It's like the parents were they were supportive, but not pushing enough.
I mean, what I loved about what the dad said especially was the fact that no matter what he tried, like, he was trying so hard to have them basically throw him away and, have them deny him, But the fact that they were saying, the dad was saying, I will always love you. There's nothing you can do. Like, you're going to have to try a lot harder if you want me to not love you. That's great. Yeah. And he had to deal with his dad and then his mom and all of his feelings. He had to face the fact that, and that's what the pain was. You were right. Every time he was basically facing or ignoring parts of his personality and parts of his past that he just should have dealt with and never did, that's when he felt pain, because he needed to face the reality of his past. It was a bit confusing in the beginning because, like he was saying, normally it passes after 8 because it's something that happens, and it's something I've certainly done before, but when you really don't want to do something today and you wait. Honestly, it's you do that, you wait till it's too late, but as soon as it's too late, basically the blame goes away. Yeah. It's not your fault anymore.
Yeah.
We've all done this at least once, I'm pretty sure, but it's something that it's not healthy.
Yeah.
And he was doing it a lot. But when he said that, that's why I was thinking, like, maybe he's got massive anxiety. Like, maybe that's why he doesn't go to school. Facing people is not something that he wants to do. Well, it's true, but it wasn't the actual problem. It was bigger than that. So when he said, like, oh, maybe it passes after 8, I thought that the pain was kind of like panic attacks or something. But no, it was really part of the trial. Still, he faced his past, and it was bittersweet. And I love the fact that, you know, first of all, the parents were there, which is something that we didn't have in season 1.
True.
He never mentioned them, and we were wondering, like, if he had a past, if it mattered, but it does matter. He's saying that he thinks about them.
His whole character is based on that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And he thinks about them all the time, and I love that sad little thing where basically when he left that last time, you know, that first day of his adventure, she basically sent him on his way, and he never answered because he wasn't, you know, he was depressed. He wasn't there. He didn't give a shit. He didn't know what was going to happen, but he didn't, you know, what's profiter basically. He didn't live in the moment, you know, as he should. He should have, because time passes, and when it's past, you never get it back. So he should have said bye to his mom, and he never did.
You know what? I was thinking about something during that episode when he was thinking about the fact that he wasn't feeling worthy of being somebody's son, to be a failure, and the fact that he
a failure.
Yeah, and I thought that maybe the fact that he's trying so hard to save Emilia because he wasn't able to save himself in his real life.
Well, kind of like I said, the personality he showed in the first season, you know, before he lost it and started admitting, you know, what he actually felt inside, was the personality he was trying to put on in real life before he basically became depressed, you know, before he became a shut-in. You know, it's the personality that's always trying to do more, always trying to be better at everything, always trying to succeed because that's what he's supposed to be, you know, according to the people who know his parents. But then what he had to realize, something he realized in this episode, was that it's okay to fail. You know, kind of like, basically the realization he had in the first season was also, you know, the same realization he had here. It's just that in the real world, people know who he is. Yeah. You know, it's not just about him being him. It's about him being the son of his parents. So he wants to make them proud, but they will be proud of him no matter what. So that's something he needed to come to terms with.
You know, it always amazes me, like, how some people who cannot maybe help themselves always try to help everybody that they can, as hard as much as they could.
Yeah, I
understand.
understand.
They can do it for themselves first, but they need to understand that to be able to help somebody else, you need to be able to help yourself first.
You see it that way, and I understand. I think, though, when it started, and we talked about this in season 1, but it wasn't so much about saving he said it himself, it was selfish as fuck. It wasn't so much about him saving Emilia, than it was about him wanting to be the hero.
True.
So
maybe both.
I think it changed. You know, now he just cares so much about them that he wants to save them. So that's something else. But he's evolved. You know, he's changed. He's matured. But when he started it all, you know, when he first got to the world, he saw it as basically a blank slate, a clean slate. We start from nothing. No one knows me. I get to change myself completely and, you know, start anew. But he did the same mistakes in this world that he did in real life, which was put on a mask and pretend. But I think it was very selfish, his idea that he had to save Emilia. It wasn't about saving Emilia. He didn't know her. It was about wanting to be important, wanting to be the hero. And then he came to terms with that, but that was in season 1, so that's past. But he was a disturbed little kid. And now he's on the way to recovery. And it's very sad, the things but he knows that he might never see his parents again, you know, but he still puts on a brave face and goes on and does his thing, you know,
it's true that
he's a good character.
Think enough about the parents, because if he does come back to the real world,
how much time would have passed
when he disappeared, or in real timeline, you know?
I don't know.
Because if he does come back after some time, it technically disappeared for an amount of period of time, and the parents
they'll have worried. They'll be worried, and probably they were looking for him. But it depends on where he is. Like, is it an actual world? Like, we still don't know. But is this an actual world? Is this in his head? If it's in his head, then what happened? Like, is he in a coma somewhere? If it's not in his head and it's an actual world, well, then is time passing by the same here than it is in the real world? And if not, then how much time has passed in the real world? Like, there's a bunch of questions, and he doesn't know the answer to that. All he knows is that he might never come back.
Yeah.
But I think that he made his peace with that for now. So that's what the episode was about. Facing his past, facing who he used to be, coming to terms with that.
Since we faced the past, let's face the future then.
Well, it's not over. Like, the test is not over.
Well, let's see what's gonna happen next.
But right? It was a very good episode. I'm glad we got to see this.
It was sweet.
Okay, so thank you guys so much for watching this with us. If you want to see the next episode right away, it is already on Patreon. You can check it out. The link is in the description.
Yeah, so don't forget to subscribe for and watch it now, guys. And if not, wait for the next one to be out on YouTube.
Yes.
We should be next week.
Yes.
We're gonna see you there.
Bye.
Bye-bye.